Welcome to the Save Childhood podcast with Jennifer McCarville. Because childhood has changed, but children have not.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Save Childhood podcast.
I'm Jennifer McCarville.
And I'm Nicole Dugan. And today's episode, with Thanksgiving just around the corner, is all about gratitude and how to nurture that in children, a heart of gratitude.
And ourselves, really.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like, it's really an ageless practice, but definitely we all want to raise children who are gracious and, appreciative of life. And so I think that the things we're going to talk about also can be applied at any age.
Yeah, and with children, it's not necessarily, you don't teach them to be thankful or have a sense of gratitude by requiring that they say please and thank you or
saying, do you know how lucky you are?
Yeah.
They really don't know how lucky they are.
Right.
And they won't know that until they're adults. I remember my daughter went away to college and called while she was in college and said, you and Dad are really great parents. Because it was so sweet.
I would just want to say, if my kids are listening to this, you should call and say that.
That's right. And mean it. I know you mean it. Because that's true. You do have great parents. But yeah, she said, I didn't really realize, and that she had met so many more people. Her world had broadened so much. And just out of the blue, it was so sweet. And really, that's when they're going to realize it.
Yeah.
So when they're young and we're trying to pound it into them, do you know how lucky you are? Do you know how great you have it? They really don't. I mean, we do, which is why we make the choices for them that we make. But, yeah.
Yeah, and having a heart of gratitude, as we're talking about it today, isn't just being thankful for your family or thankful for all the things you have.
Right.
It's also about seeing all the things there are to be, all that's good in the world.
Paying attention to all the ordinary miracles and all and did you know that gratitude, looking this up and doing a little bit of research and stuff, gratitude actually makes you more resistant to stress. And if you have a posture of gratitude, you are actually, toxic emotions of other people don't impact you as much. Hardly at all. Really.
That's pretty cool.
Because I guess when you are so focused on living a life of gratitude, when other people are upset, rather than that changing everything for you because you're so grounded in the goodness of life, even in the hard times.
Yeah.
That it just kind of almost protects you. It's a protective layer of your emotions, where when other people are toxic, that, I think hopefully you're still, you still care, but it doesn't weigh on you. You don't carry that from them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was real. I mean, that right there, if it's a stress reducer and it helps you be resistant to toxic emotions of other people, let's get grateful.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so true. And I guess that's why we were talking before we started filming about gratitude journals and different things like that as adults that you can practice. And so I guess it makes you healthy.
I mean, that's what they say.
Healthier thing. And
then that's what the research said too. So yeah. It makes sense. And I think that I used to do a gratitude journal, and maybe I'll get back to that after this talk.
Me too. Let's try it.
You should too. If you're listening, let's talk about gratitude journaling.
Yeah.
5 things a day. Anyway, but yeah, gratitude really is a posture of noticing, like really being present. You talk about, like, for Save Childhood, savoring the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is all about savoring the moments, really noticing things. And I think we get so busy and we're moving so much, we forget to notice. I know I do.
Yeah, like, give me an example.
Well, when I'm walking through the garden in the school, even, there are so many beautiful things in there. The flowers that are blooming, we have these beautiful purple flowers, and they're my favorites out there. And when we first had them, they were thriving, and there were these purple flowers all over the arch, and I was so overwhelmed by how beautiful they were, and they were so impressive because there were so many. And I was like, I absolutely love those flowers. And now I'm used to them being there, I think. So I forget to stop and look.
taking the time
to you get used to the things that are there. So imagine what else I'm missing. And I know the children go into the garden and I can hear them outside my window, or the teachers will share photos of things that they've discovered and things that I've never even really stopped to look at. So I think that just goes across the board for all of us who are thinking about the next thing we need to do. And that's
so when you pause long enough to start noticing more,
you realize how much there is to be grateful for.
And how good things are around you.
I think we always, noticing what's around us. And I think also noticing what we're allowing to enter into our lives. The media. What are we allowing into our lives that could skew our perspective away from gratitude to, how horrible things are, how worried we are, those kinds of things. I think that we have to be really careful about what we allow in.
Okay.
Because that can change your position from noticing things that you're grateful about and all of these beautiful things about life and the world to just constantly countering that with something negative. And I think that I know people who do that some, and I think that that's a dangerous practice. So being aware of that, I think, is important. That it's noticing the little things and also noticing the big things, but also being aware of what we're letting come into our lives.
Okay, so let's specifically talk about what gratitude looks like in childhood.
Okay. Well, for young children, it comes in these small, little bitty pieces, but very concrete ways.
Okay.
So that's another reason when we say to them, like, do you know how lucky you are? That's really abstract, right? It's really concrete ways. So, they might not yet understand things like, I'm thankful for my family, but they might be able to, to relate to, I love it when you tuck me in at night. See, and they are thankful for their families, and we teach children to say that, and that's okay. It's like you sing the ABCs and you don't really know what to do with them. You don't need to at the time. So we do teach children to say, oh, I'm so thankful for this, for that. But to help them learn to truly see and become that heart of noticing, to have that heart of gratitude, saying things like, I love it when you tuck me in at night. And so I think that those experiences and the connections we can make to them, the things that bring them comfort and the things that reflect kindness, bringing those to the attention, right?
Yeah. And so how can we nurture that in children? How do we teach them to be?
Well, the best way that we
thankful.
Teach children is we model it. Always modeling it. We're saying, oh, I really appreciate it when you bring me my water bottle. Thanks so much. Or, oh, wow, the sunset is so beautiful tonight. I'm so happy that I got to see that today. Just sharing with them as we do that. Just, this practice of being the model, setting, the example for them is always going to be the best and the most important teacher.
So if children see us expressing our gratitude and pausing long enough to notice things that might not be usually noticed, then they're learning how to do it as well from us.
And maybe even if we notice them, but we don't pause to savor them. We don't pause, like, a lot of people do say a blessing before dinner, but I do think that isn't as common and not as consistent for sure. So, you would pause and say, thank you for the food. I'm grateful for my food. I'm grateful for, and through prayer, we are setting an example when we start our prayers with, thanks to God for what we've been given. But in other ways, just noticing like, oh, I'm so grateful that we got to eat this for dinner tonight. Or, oh gosh, I feel so lucky that we have this homemade soup today, things like that. So modeling it and making sure that we're an example.
Yeah. And also savor the moment, but also say no could fall into this category too, because we need to say no to to the busyness and so many of the things that we're rushing to do, and to slow down ourselves and for the children.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's very true.
Yeah.
I think thinking about, the gratitude, like, I'm so grateful for the things in my everyday life that I don't take them for granted, like walking through and listening to the teachers talk to the children, and the way the environment is so intentional and designed with care for them so that they are in beautiful spaces, and and I'm so grateful for those things, but pausing to soak it in and then reflect on it, I think is really important.
Yeah.
It's important to remind ourselves that having a heart of gratitude doesn't mean that we're not going to have hard times, that things aren't going to go wrong, that there aren't going to be challenges. Of course there is, but we can always find goodness even when there's hard. I think that it's more noticing all the things that are good. The flowers are blooming. The snow is beautiful. We have a nice place to live. We're safe. Those things, rather than comparing, because that's another tenet. Don't compare. So it's really about learning how to genuinely be appreciative.
Yeah.
I think, and it's not something that we're going to develop overnight. I think it's something that we talk about and we just really model over and over. Just like I've said, we've talked about a lot. Everything's a long journey,
right? When
it comes to raising children or improving ourselves,
right? So if we do the gratitude journal 2 times, that's not going to be it. Well, we can't check the box.
That's not going to block you from all the toxic emotions of other people, I don't think.
Consistency over long periods of time is how you train yourself and then model that for the children.
Absolutely. Yep. And also, but I mean, if you did it twice, at least you did it twice.
True.
I mean, you can never complain about that, right?
I'm thankful for that.
I am thankful for that too. Regardless, it's just something we want to nurture in ourselves and model for our children, so it will just be so inherent in their souls about how wonderful life is and how grateful we are for what we have wherever we are. There are always things to be grateful for, and that it would just become so natural for their being. Like, this is just part of life, This is what our family does. And I think, there are things that you can do, that pausing to write down a couple of things, maybe at breakfast with your children, you can bring them into that, right? And so being aware is your number one step. And then remembering that having a heart of gratitude is about noticing. And while we set aside this day, this Thanksgiving Day, to be grateful that we live where we live and we have the freedoms that we have and that people have protected those freedoms for us, it is important for us to pause and note that, and really what an incredible thing that is. But we don't want it to be a once a year experience. We want to nurture in children a heart of gratitude, fill their souls. I always, this is the soul work. Young children, they operate from their emotional part of their brain. And so when you are pouring into the children, modeling for the children, you're actually forming their souls. And so I think a heart of gratitude is one of the best gifts we can give our kids. So.
You heard it here.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. So let's keep the conversation going. Tell us something you're thankful for, and or ways that you practice gratitude in your life.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok, YouTube. We have the video of this podcast on YouTube. Yeah. And new podcast episodes drop every Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as well as YouTube.
That's where we are on YouTube with the podcast.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. To learn more and join the movement, go to savechildhood.org.